We have here with us Fred Sears, who is the Vice President of Delaware Trust Company and is on the City Council. He's Councilman at Large, and he's here to talk to us about the future development of Wilmington and to talk about the goals and aspirations of our city. Fred is helping to spearhead these development projects with his many activities. Fred, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Bob. Pleasure to be here.
Fred, it seems as if Wilmington is in a real revival period, and there's a lot of innovation and spirit that's being pumped into what was once a staid city. Isn't it true that Wilmington has received more than its share of federal development money? As a matter of fact, as far as grant money goes, we've received more money than any other city per capita in the country. How did Mayor McLaughlin's administration pull that off?
Well, I think it was a team effort, and it is true. We have received certainly a large share of federal money, and in this particular UDAG program, the Urban Development Action Grant Program, we have received more dollars than any other per capita than any other city in the United States. One of the reasons, I think, is certainly we've had a couple of very good projects. Hercules Incorporated, an excellent corporation that was definitely going to leave the city, it fit right into the bill of the Urban Development Action Grant, which is to keep the cities growing and keep them at least at their current level. And so the dollars were right there with a company they knew was going to go right ahead with a project. It wasn't any fly-by-night project. The same with Wilmington Trust Company, and even the Radisson Hotel worked out to be an excellent project. But on the other hand, as you say, how did the mayor work this out? I think we had a lot of help from HUD up in Philadelphia. Former Mayor Tom Maloney now runs the area HUD office. And,
that doesn't hurt.
I'm not saying that he got our grants okayed, but he certainly told us, gave us some big help on how to fill out the blanks and fill out the applications, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, I understand there was something like $40 million plus in federal grant money that came into this city?
Well, it's not all grants. A lot of it is loan money, which has to be paid back eventually by the corporations that got the money. However, it is paid back at like 5.3, 5.5% interest rate, interest only for a certain number of years. Very reasonable terms for anybody who wants to keep their business in the city of Wilmington.
You mentioned the Hercules and Wilmington Trust projects. Recent key developments to city planners have been the decisions by Hercules and Wilmington Trust to stay located in Wilmington. And what did the city have to do to attract them to stay when they were seriously considering relocating?
Well, certainly there were a lot of excellent places that they could have relocated in the county. Matter of fact, also even out of state.
Yes.
And I think what it got down to, which was, I think, all the governments in the state of Delaware should be commended on this, got down to rather than the city fighting with the county or the state fighting to get somebody downstate where there's not as much corporate business going on right now, the three got together early and said, listen, if we're going to keep Hercules here, if we're going to keep Wilmington Trust here, we're going to keep them right in the city of Wilmington, and everybody's going to work towards that goal. And once they got that squared away, why we certainly got with the federal people and offered these low-interest loans, as well as all kinds of planning help, as well as help as far as parking goes, and community assistance, so that when Hercules built their new building down there, it wouldn't be like they're just being rammed down the throat of a community that's already in place down there. And they also got heavily involved with the financial structure. There's no question that Hercules, for instance, could have gone out to where their research center is now and built roughly a 2-story headquarters for a heck of a lot cheaper than they could build what I believe is going to be a 12-story building down at 14th and Market right now. But they couldn't have done that with the federal funds, and the federal funds offset the difference in the costs. And before you know it, we now not only have the Hercules building down there, we have a beautiful parking garage with a few retail outlets going in place also right near the People's Bank, right across the street from where the building's going to be, the Hercules building's going to be. And now with that spur, Wilmington Trust has decided to build over top of the post office, which was it's been known for years that the post office was moving out and nobody wanted that building at all here right in the center of our town. Now it's going to be the headquarters for the biggest bank in the city.
I know they had mentioned about the family court going in there, and that fell through, and finally we're going to do something creative with it.
Right.
What do you see as Wilmington's major selling points?
Well, we have a lot, I think. Certainly we have a very aggressive government, as far as corporations go, willing to just go overboard with any kind of program and any kind of help to get federal programs, as well as some city programs. We have some good tax incentives, both on our head tax as well as on our property taxes, to attract businesses to the community. And of course, we have the I-95 and the 495, so the access into town is very easy. And it's also obviously very good access to New York, Washington, Baltimore without having to live in that hectic pace up there. And of course the state's corporate tax structure is one of the most beneficial to corporations in the United States.
What about small businesses, particularly entertainment and nightlife establishments? What's being done to promote them?
Well, we've tried. There is one organization, well, there's two organizations, I guess, but one mainly called the Small Business Development Corporation that's set up by the city, which is there to help lend money to not only entertainment, but to any small business that wants to get started within the city limits. Particularly even more money or better rates for businesses that want to start in what we call a targeted area, an area that could really, not necessarily a poor run-down area, but an area that could really use a specific kind of business, say a little market in some area where there's really no marketplace available, things like that. The entertainment side of it, we certainly seem to have the restaurants coming all the time. There seems to be always new restaurant or lounge opening up here and there. We're working right now on that Waterworks restaurant in the old City Waterworks building.
That's right.
Be right down on the riverfront.
Is that the Washington organization that's bringing that in?
Yeah, Washington and Delaware. It's, the manager is a gentleman who is now managing a restaurant in Washington at the time. He is moving to Wilmington, though. He's marrying a Wilmington girl.
I think that's Beowulf's in Washington.
That's right. He's managing Beowulf's, and he's moving to Wilmington, marrying a Wilmington girl, and it's her brother-in-law by marriage who is going to be his partner here in town.
And across the river, they're talking about having other projects such as health club facilities and condos and offices and so forth.
Right. It should be, that area of the river should really be an attractive area in a very short period of time.
What's the Wilmington City Council's position on Highlight Fronton?
Yeah, he pulled one out of the air on me. At one time, we were talking seriously about a Highlight Fronton down at 4th and King, which is still a vacant block for the city of Wilmington. But it just didn't come to pass because we couldn't get the legislation through the state legislature that would allow the Highlight to come into the state. I personally think, and I know the council felt, that it would have been a good move for the city of Wilmington to at least have the Fronton there. There were a lot of questions about the gambling aspect and Highlight per se, but the deal was presented to the city that the Warner Communications would build the Highlight Fronton with their own money on this vacant block. It's a beautiful auditorium and all new construction and well-built seating for I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of people, so that if Highlight in the end did not go, or when Highlight was out of season, the city of Wilmington had a beautiful building, auditorium there that could be used for any number of attractions and things, and that's what that plus the property taxes a building like that would pay were the key advantages to it.
Well, Fred, I want to thank you for coming on our show, and I look forward to having other representatives from Wilmington City Council come on to talk about other aspects of what the city is doing.
Good.
And stick around. We're going to have some messages, but we'll be back with more of Focus Delaware. Thanks, Fred.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Focus Delaware will return right after these messages.